The studio lights burned hard on Big Ed's face long before the cameras began to roll. He sat still, unusually quiet, hands clasped together on his lap. The empty set around him felt like an interrogation room dressed up with bright colors and fake plans. A production assistant powdered his forehead while another adjusted his mic. Ed barely blinked, his eyes, tired and restless, kept shifting toward the stage entrance. Somewhere behind that wall, Liz was coming, and today she knew everything, the secret he had kept for months. The late-night texts, the flirty conversations, the deleted threads, everything was out in the open. A producer had shown her screenshots, not rumors, not speculation, screenshots. Ed swallowed, his tongue felt like sandpaper. Today was supposed to be just another tell-all, filming, an argument. Here, a tearful apology, there, ratings up, drama done. But today was different. This time the truth wasn't just knocking, it had kicked the door down. Hours earlier, the San Diego morning light crept through Liz's apartment blinds like quiet judgment. Empty coffee cups sat scattered on her kitchen table, next to her phone, screen cracked, case worn, buzzing every few minutes with new messages from producers. She hadn't slept. All night her mind replayed the conversation. Liz, you need to see this. A voice over the phone, calm, serious. Screenshots had arrived one after another. Ed texting another woman, playful emojis, late-night chats, messages time-stamped while she slept beside him. Some were harmless, some were not, some burned like acid behind her eyes. She stared into her coffee mug. The reflection that looked back wasn't the Liz she knew. It was someone smaller, exhausted, chipped down by years of trying to fix something that never stayed fixed. How many second chances had she given him? 4, no more. Every breakup blurred into another reconciliation. Every fight ended in promises. I'll change, Liz, I'll do better. And every time she believed him, she wrapped her arms around herself, trying to hold together the pieces. Her heart kept dropping. Her phone buzzed again. A new message. Producer, car will pick you up in 20 minutes. We need you here early. Liz stared blankly at the screen. 20 minutes until she would sit across from him, under bright studio lights, makeup covering tired eyes. Microphones ready to catch every tremble in her voice. She exhaled. Shaky and unsteady. If she walked away now, people would say she ran. If she stayed, she would have to face him, the texts, the betrayal, the cameras, and she would have to keep her hands from shaking. Liz tightened her ponytail, looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, no more backing down on set stage. Felt colder than usual, despite the heat of the overhead rigs. Rows of chairs curved in a half-moon around the center sofa. A giant screen behind them waited, ready to display whatever production had prepared footage. Photos proof. When Liz stepped in, heads turned. Not because she looked glamorous, she didn't. She looked like a woman who hadn't slept, who had cried until tears ran dry, who was holding herself together by sheer will. Ed's shoulders stiffened when he saw her. Liz didn't sit beside him. She walked past his outstretched hand and took the seat at the far end of the couch, a space between them like a wound. He tried to smile, small, nervous, but she didn't look his way. The host stepped onto the stage, mic in hand, voice smooth as polished glass. Welcome back. Today things might get intense, the audience murmured with anticipation. Everyone could feel it, something heavy, electric in the air. Liz kept her gaze forward, breathing steady, waiting. Ed bounced his leg anxiously. The host continued. Before we start, Liz, the producers informed us you received something important last night. Liz's throat tightened. Here it comes. She nodded once, slow. Yes, she said, voice flat, emotion buried deep so it didn't break through. Something I wish I never had to see. Ed looked at her finally, eyes pleading. Can we talk about this privately? Liz turned her head. Their eyes met. For a moment everything else disappeared. Audience, cameras, lights, just to people who had loved, fought, broken, and somehow kept coming back. Her voice was almost a whisper. We had private chances, Ed, you know we did. She looked back toward the host. You wanted a public relationship. Fine, let's have a public conversation. A ripple went through the room. Someone in the back whispered, oh my God. Ed's fingers tightened around his mic. It was late when Ed's phone buzzed on the nightstand. Liz had been asleep, curled up with half the blanket pulled away, breathing softly. He should have ignored it. He should have turned over and gone back to sleep. Instead, he reached, hey stranger. Still up, the message glowed on the screen now. Woman from his gym, friendly chatty to friendly. Ed smiled, a guilty, secret kind of smile. He typed back. Yeah, just unwinding. What about you? One message became three became 20. The conversation drifted. Workouts, life. We should hang out sometime. Nothing physical, no cheating, he told himself. Just connection, attention, something he wasn't getting from Liz that week. Or so he convinced himself to believe. But deep down he knew if Liz saw, it would break her. So he deleted the thread. Then the next night he texted again. Secret start small, then they grow teeth. Asterisk. The host raised a hand gently. We have something we need to show you both. Liz's breathing hitched. Ed's skin prickled cold. The screen behind them lit up bright white. Then scrolling blue text bubbles. There they were, every message, every emoji. Every late night chat he thought no one would ever see. A screenshot hovered huge behind them. Ed. Wish I could see you tonight. Woman, I thought you were with Liz. Ed. She's asleep. The crowd gasped. Liz shut her eyes tight, forcing back the sting. Ed's heart slammed against his ribs. His voice came out hoarse. It wasn't like that, I swear. We only talked to her. Host raised an eyebrow. Multiple nights. Ed swallowed. Yes, but it wasn't physical. Liz turned to him slowly. Her eyes glistened, shiny but unshed, like tears held back by dignity. That doesn't make it better. Silence, she continued, words trembling but sharp. You told me I was paranoid. You made me feel crazy, but look, you were lying. Not in my head, not insecurity. It was real. Her voice cracked on that last word. Real. Painfully real. Ed's face reddened. Shame crawled up his neck. He reached out instinctively, hand halfway toward her, but she recoiled. A small movement, quick, like a touch would burn. I thought we were finally stable. She whispered, I thought we were building a future. The studio felt smaller, air heavier. The audience leaned forward, hanging on every word. Ed whispered, I messed up, I know. I was insecure. I felt like you were slipping away. And Liz laughed once broken. Not amused. You were insecure. You were insecure. Her voice rose. Not angry shouting. A heart cracked open mid-beat. I defended you when people mocked you. I forgave you when others told me to run. I stood by you every time you humiliated me on camera. And you were texting someone else because you felt insecure. Her shoulders shook. One tear escaped, sliding down her cheek, catching the light like a tiny crystal. The audience went silent. No one moved. Even the cameras felt like they held their breath. Ed's voice shrank small. I'm sorry, Liz. I'm truly sorry. She wiped her cheek with the back of her hand. So am I. Her eyes hardened, not cruel, but awakened. I'm sorry I kept trusting someone who didn't know what to do with my heart. Asterisk hours later. Cameras followed her into a private booth. Small, quiet, walls padded so sound wouldn't escape. One spotlight illuminated her face, leaving the edges of the room in soft shadow. She sat still, hands twisting nervously. When love hurts, it doesn't always feel like a stab, she said softly. Sometimes it's slow, like erosion. Day by day you lose pieces of yourself, and you don't notice until there's almost nothing left. Her eyes drifted somewhere distant. I loved Ed, I still do in some way. But love shouldn't make you feel small. Her voice broke again. I don't know what happens next. I just know I can't go back to pretending everything is okay. Asterisk. His room looked darker. Shadows deeper on his eyes. I never wanted to hurt her, he whispered, voice barely steady. I was stupid. I needed attention. I guess I thought it was harmless, but seeing her face today, God, he pressed his fingers into his eyes. I might lose her, and this time it might be for good. Asterisk. Liz sat alone on a metal folding chair, staring at the floor. A blanket was draped over her shoulders. Someone from crew had offered it. The hallway buzzed with activity, makeup artists, sound techs, cast whispering. Nobody approached her. They knew heartbreak when they saw it. Footsteps finally echoed toward her, heavy, slow. Ed. He stood a few feet away, small, unsure, hands tucked into his hoodie pocket. Can we talk? He asked gently. Liz looked up. Her eyes were red, but her voice steady. You can talk. Oh, listen. He sat across from her, knees almost touching. I want to fix this, he murmured. Tell me how. Liz's reply was soft, painful. Start by being honest. For once, no excuses, no jokes. Ed nodded. His voice trembled. I liked the attention. It felt good. I didn't think about consequences. I thought, as long as I wasn't meeting her, it wasn't cheating. Liz inhaled slowly, and now he met her gaze, eyes glossy. Now I know emotional cheating hurts just as much, maybe more. How long? Silence settled. Liz looked at him, the man she loved, the man who hurt her, the man she didn't know if she could forgive again. She reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. The screenshot's still open on the screen, asterisk. Seeing these broke something in me, Ed, and I don't know if it can be fixed, not quickly. Maybe not ever. Ed's breathing shook. Please don't give up on us. Liz closed her eyes. Pain washed across her face like a tide. I want to believe you. I want to believe things can change. But wanting isn't enough anymore. She stood slowly. Her legs felt heavy, like moving through water. I need time, real time, alone. Ed's face fell. Does that mean we're done? Liz paused. Not done, but not together right now either. She turned and walked down the hall. Every step away from him felt like ripping off a bandage glued to skin. Ed watched her go until she turned a corner and disappeared. His chest ached. For the first time in a long time, he was afraid. Not of losing fame. Not of public humiliation, afraid of losing Liz, the only person who ever saw through the bluster, the jokes, the persona, and loved him anyway. Asterisk. Liz walked out of the hallway and into the parking lot alone. Late evening air wrapped around her like a cold sheet. The city felt louder than usual, engines, honking, footsteps, but inside her mind, everything was quiet. Emotionally numb, she unlocked her car door, sat inside, and let her hands fall on the steering wheel. Her eyes didn't cry this time, they just stared forward. Empty. Why did love feel like this? Not burning anger, not dramatic heartbreak, just exhaustion, a feeling like carrying stones in her chest. She didn't start the engine immediately. Instead, she leaned back and let silence swallow her. Inside the studio, Ed watched from a window, his silhouette reflected faintly against the glass. He saw her sitting there, alone, motionless. He lifted a hand to the window as if it could reach her, but she couldn't see it. A crew member approached him. You okay, Ed? He forced a nod, though he wasn't okay. No, but I want to be. Asterisk. Hours later, Liz lay on her couch wrapped in a blanket. TV running, a random sitcom she wasn't watching. A glass of water sat untouched on the table. Her phone buzzed occasionally. Friends checking in, producers asking if she was safe, fans posting online rumors. She scrolled briefly through social media. Ed cheating leaks. What happened at the tell-all taping? Liz seen crying backstage, speculation everywhere. She locked her phone and covered her face with the blanket. She didn't want the world right now. She wanted peace, or maybe just closure. Her doorbell rang. Twice. Liz frowned. Who would come this late? She opened the door slightly, chain still latched. Ed stood there. His hoodie looked damp, mist from the night. His face tired, eyes puffy. He held a paper bag in one hand. Liz, I brought you dinner, your favorite chicken pho and spring rolls. She hesitated. Part of her wanted to slam the door. Another part, the part that still felt something, softened. She unlatched the chain and stepped back. Ed exhaled in relief and entered slowly, like stepping into a fragile space. Liz crossed her arms. No smile, no welcome. He set the food on the table gently, like placing flowers on a grave. They sat opposite each other, silence thick between them. Liz finally spoke. You shouldn't have come. Ed nodded. I know, I just couldn't go home without trying again. She stared at her hands. Trying again is the problem, Ed. We don't solve things, we restart them. There's a difference. Ed swallowed. I've been reading about attachment issues. About how I push you away then pull you back when I'm scared. Liz's eyebrows lifted slightly, surprised. You read about it? Yeah, he said quietly. I even started therapy last month. Didn't tell you because I wanted to show improvement before claiming I could change. Liz blinked. Therapy, Ed. She never imagined it. He continued, voice gentle. I'm not telling you to pity me. I'm telling you I'm trying. Liz leaned back slowly. That means something. But if it doesn't erase what happened. I know, he whispered. She rubbed her temples. Why her, Ed? Why someone else? Ed looked down, shame tugging at his expression. She made me feel admired, wanted. It was stupid. You already loved me, but I was afraid you'd realize. You deserve better. She was like a distraction from that fear. Liz looked up sharply. And in distracting yourself, you destroyed my trust. He nodded, eyes watering. I would take it back if I could. Liz felt a tear well up. Maybe it was the honesty finally breaking through. Maybe she needed to hear responsibility, not excuses. She sighed. I don't know how to forgive you yet, Ed whispered. Can I try to earn it? Liz didn't answer right away. She looked at his face, older, flawed, human, a man she loved through chaos and confusion, a man who made her laugh, but also made her cry too many times. Her voice came out soft, tired. You can try, Ed's eyes lifted a small flicker of hope. But, she added firmly, I'm not promising anything. He nodded. I'll take that. They sat together silently, no hand-holding, no kiss. Just two people sharing space, broken pieces laid out like shards across the table. Liz met her friend Angela in a small corner cafe. Angela listened like someone who had sat through this cycle one too many times, so he texted someone else. Angela tapped her mug, rouse furrowed again. Liz, this time feels different. Liz murmured. Angela leaned forward. Different how? Liz hesitated. He looked ashamed and not defensive. He admitted everything. No minimizing, no jokes. Angela sighed. Men apologize when they fear losing comfort. The real question is, does he want you or does he want not to be alone? The words hit Liz harder than she expected. She stared at her coffee, steam curling upward like fading hope. I don't know, Liz said quietly. I want to believe him. Angela placed a gentle hand over hers. Belief is not a love language. Action is. Liz nodded slowly. I think I need space from him, maybe a week, maybe more. That sounds healthy, Angela said with a small smile. Healing isn't quick, it's daily, Liz exhaled. Feeling despite everything, lighter. Ed paced in his kitchen, phone in hand. He typed a message, deleted it, typed again, deleted again. He wanted to call her, hear her voice, but space. She asked for space. He opened social media and felt a punch to the gut. Comment after comment, thousands. He closed the app, chest tight. The doorbell rang. He opened it and froze. It was the woman from the text, wearing a denim jacket. Hair tied loosely, eyes nervous but determined. Ed, we need to talk. His heart dropped. This was the last person he expected, the last person Liz would ever want near them. He stepped outside, shutting the door behind him. You shouldn't be here. She crossed her arms. I didn't come for drama. I came because your screenshots leaked and people think we had an affair. Ed's eyes widened. We didn't. I know that, she said quickly, but the internet doesn't know context. My job emailed me. I might get suspended. Ed's palm sweated. This was bigger than feelings now. Public, messy, dangerous. He rubbed his forehead. I'm sorry, truly. I never wanted this to blow up like that. She looked at him, hurt and fearful. Fix it then. Clear my name publicly. Tell everyone it wasn't physical. Ed hesitated. Huge decision. If he defended her publicly, people might accuse him of protecting a side relationship. But if he didn't, she would pay for his mistakes. I'll do it, he finally said. I'll make a statement. She exhaled in relief. Thank you. As she turned to leave, she stopped and looked back. For what it's worth, I think Liz is good for you. Don't screw it up again. Her words lingered after she left, like smoke in still air. Liz sat on her balcony, watching clouds drift slowly across the sky. She wanted calm, but her chest felt unsettled. Her phone vibrated. A notification popped up. Ed posted a statement. Hand slightly trembling. She opened it. There are screenshots circulating. I want to clarify, I was wrong to message someone while in a relationship. It was emotional betrayal, not physical. The woman being dragged online does not deserve the hate. I take full responsibility, Liz. If you see this, you deserve honesty. I'm working to be better. Liz felt her heart squeeze. No excuses, no defensive tone. Accountability. She didn't smile, but something inside softened a little. Then a new notification appeared. Comment added. The woman from the screenshots responds. Liz clicked. Her comment. Thank you, Ed, for speaking up. I hope you and Liz work things out. She seems like a strong woman. Liz stared at the word strong. She didn't feel strong, but maybe she was. Tears formed, slow, warm, not from pain, but release. She typed a reply publicly, hand steady. Liz's reply, thank you for clarifying. Healing takes time, but honesty matters. Within minutes, likes and supportive comments flooded in. For once, instead of feeling humiliated, Liz felt seen. Not as the broken girlfriend. As a woman choosing herself. Evening, a phone call leaked just when things seemed to settle. Chaos found them again. Liz's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered softly. Hello? A shaky voice said, Liz, I think you need to hear something. Someone leaked an audio file of a phone call. It's online, it's going viral. Liz sat up straight. What call? The one between Ed and the woman. The night he told her he felt lonely. Liz's stomach dropped. She quickly opened Twitter. The top trending post, audio, Ed confessing loneliness to another woman while in a relationship. She pressed play. Ed's voice filled her room. I don't know, Liz and I have been distant. Sometimes I just feel like you understand me more than she does. Liz's breath caught. Then the woman's voice. Maybe you're with the wrong person then. Then Ed laughed. Maybe Liz. Pause the audio. Her hands trembled. That word, maybe, hurt more than any screenshot. It hinted at possibility, at weakness, at questioning their love. Liz stared ahead, expression frozen. Then she stood up, grabbed her jacket, and walked out the door. Asterisk. Liz drives to Ed's house. Her heart raced the entire drive. Not angry chaos, a calmer, resolved kind of fire. She knocked firmly. Ed opened the door, surprised, hopeful. Liz. I didn't think I'd see you today. She stepped inside without waiting. He sensed something was wrong. What happened? Liz pulled out her phone, the lead call. Ed's face drained of color. He sank onto the couch like his legs gave up. I didn't know it was recorded. I never thought. Liz interrupted, not yelling, but with quiet pain. You said maybe you were with the wrong person. Ed shook his head repeatedly. That was months ago. During one of our fights I was venting. It was stupid. I didn't mean it. Liz crossed her arms. Do you believe that now, that you're with the wrong person? He looked up, eyes intense. No. I believe I'm with the right person, but I wasn't being the right man. Liz held his gaze, searching. He held his breath. After a long moment, she sat beside him slowly, not close, but not distant. This changes things, she said softly, not in a final way. But we start differently now. No more assumptions. No half-truths. Ed nodded like a student being handed instructions that could save his life. What do you need from me? He asked. Liz didn't hesitate. Transparency, respect, effort. If I check your phone, you hand it over without question. If you feel neglected, you talk to me and not someone else. You attend therapy consistently, and we rebuild trust step by step. Ed inhaled, relief washing over him. I can do that. Liz nodded. And I need time. We won't jump back into love like before. We rebuild slowly. We date again, as if starting new. A small smile formed at the corner of Ed's mouth. Hopeful, uncertain, a new beginning, he said quietly. Liz looked at him, not with naive love, but mature caution. A beginning, she corrected. Not a guarantee. He accepted that because this time, love wouldn't be given. It would be earned. They sat together in silence, side by side, two people broken but trying, unsure but willing. Outside, rain began to fall softly against the windows. Like a cleansing, Liz closed her eyes and leaned back slightly. Not into his arms, just into the moment. Healing would take time, maybe months, maybe longer, but for the first time, she wasn't running. She wasn't begging. She wasn't holding fragments alone. She was choosing herself first and letting love follow if it could keep up. Asterisk. The next morning, her eyes soft and pale. Sunlight slipping through Ed's living room curtains where Liz had fallen asleep, half sitting on the couch. She hadn't planned to stay, but talking had exhausted her. Emotion drains more than arguments ever can. Ed sat in the recliner across from her, still awake. He watched the slow rise and fall of her breathing, afraid even to blink. Afraid she might wake, look her on, and regret being here. He felt the weight of the moment. Trust broken is not a crack, it's a fracture with many edges. But she was here and that meant something. When Liz stirred awake, she blinked, confused for a second. Then reality settled back into place. Ed gently offered her a glass of water. Morning. He said quietly. Morning. Their voices felt fragile, like two people learning how to speak to each other again. You didn't have to stay, Ed said. I know, Liz replied. But I wanted to rest instead of drive home at 2 a.m. exhausted. A pause, comfortable enough. Ed swallowed. I booked us a couples therapy appointment for today if you want to go. Liz looked at him, really looked. He wasn't performative. Not dramatic, just present. Part of her wanted to say yes immediately. Another part whispered caution, healthy caution. How about we start with me coming along to listen? I don't know how much I'll talk today. Ed nodded, accepting terms, without protest. That alone impressed her. Old Ed would push, joke, deflect. This Ed simply listened. They got ready quietly. No shared bathroom mirror moments, no brushing teeth side by side. Just two individuals walking alongside each other, not intertwined yet, but walking in the same direction. Asterisk. Therapy office. Late morning waiting room smelled like lavender and coffee. Soft instrumental music floated low in the background. Liz sat rigid, palms clasped. Ed tapped his foot rapidly until she gave him a look and he stopped. The therapist stepped out. Dr. Claire Martinez, warm face, gentle eyes, voice like calm water. Ed, Liz, come in. They entered a room with two armchairs angled toward each other, a small wooden table in between. box of tissues already waiting. Dr. Claire sat across from them so. She said softly, folding her hands. Tell me what brought you to here today. Liz stared at her lap, letting Ed speak first. I messed up. Ed said plainly. I texted someone else when I should have spoken to Liz, and I hurt her bad. I want to fix things, if that's even possible. Dr. Claire nodded. And Liz, why are you here today? Liz inhaled, held it, released. I'm here because I love him. Or I loved him. I'm not sure what I feel anymore. But I want clarity and peace, whether together or apart. Ed's expression flickered, hurt, but respectful. Dr. Claire leaned closer slightly. Liz, what part of the betrayal hurts the most? Liz thought a moment. It's not the texts themselves, she said slowly. It's the gaslighting in the past, the times he made me feel crazy for worrying, when clearly there was something to worry about. It's losing faith in my own instincts. Her voice trembled but didn't break. It's wondering if love makes me blind. Ed stared at the floor. I'm sorry, he whispered. I made you question yourself. Liz nodded. You did, Doctor. Claire turned to Ed. What did texting the other woman give you that you weren't getting from Liz? Ed took a long time to answer. His voice cracked as he spoke. Validation, confidence, less conflict. With Liz, everything feels real, raw, intense. With her, I can't hide. Sometimes I felt inadequate, and instead of talking to her, I took the easy out. I chased attention that didn't ask me to change. Liz glanced at him, surprised by the vulnerability. Dr. Claire asked gently, and what do you fear most now? Ed swallowed. That she'll finally realize she doesn't need me. Silence filled the room like water pooling in a quiet place. Liz's eyes softened, but her voice stayed steady. I don't need you, Ed, but I wanted you. That's different. Love shouldn't come from need. It should come from choice, Doctor. Claire nodded approvingly. That is a very mature perspective. Liz didn't feel mature, she felt tired, but hearing those words mattered. The session lasted an hour. Some questions hurt, some healed. Some simply lingered unanswered, but progress isn't linear. When they left, neither felt fixed. But something had opened: communication, accountability, reflection. Sometimes beginnings are quiet. Liz focuses on herself. Over the next week, Liz kept distance, not blocking or ghosting. Just space, a respectful one. She went back to yoga classes she had stopped attending. She visited her favorite bakery and treated herself to warm croissants on slow mornings. She took long walks along the bay, listening to waves crash, each one sounding like a heartbeat returning to rhythm. She met friends without discussing Ed every second. She relearned who Liz was outside the relationship, a person with hobbies, laughter, dreams not tied to a man. One evening, she sat painting at her kitchen table, messy strokes of color. Abstract feelings blurred into art. She realized something. She missed him, not desperately, just softly, like missing a familiar warmth after stepping into cold air. But missing isn't weakness. It's memory, it's care. She picked up her phone. Liz, how was therapy today? He replied almost instantly. Ed, hard, but opening. Thank you for checking in. She hesitated, then typed, Liz, coffee tomorrow, just talk, no expectations. Ed, I'd love that. A small smile tugged at her lips. Ed arrived early, nervous hands, new shirt, hair combed carefully. When Liz walked in, he stood. She noticed something new. Posture open, eyes calm, ego dialed down. They ordered drinks and sat. So have you been? Ed asked gently. Liz sipped her latte. Warm, sweet, better than I expected. Healing, finding myself again. Ed nodded. That makes me happy and scared, but mostly happy. Liz smiled softly. That's honest. Ed exhaled. I've been going to therapy alone too, working through insecurity, jealousy, control issues. Turns out I have more to unpack than I thought. Liz raised a brow playfully. You, issues, who knew? Ed laughed, genuine, not defensive. Progress, but seriously, he said, voice low. I'm trying to grow, not just win you back. Liz appreciated that deeply. Good. Because I don't want to be won like a prize, I want to be chosen. Respected, partnered. Ed nodded firmly. You deserve that. Their conversation flowed naturally. Stories, jokes, memories. For a moment, they were just two people with history, not wounds. When they stood to leave, Ed didn't try to hold her hand. He just smiled. This was nice. Liz nodded. It was. Outside, they walked to their cars. Good night, Liz. Good night, Ed. She drove away, heart calm instead of chaotic. Maybe healing looks like this: gentle, steady, patient. Liz froze. The woman from the text. Why would she contact her? Curious and cautious. Liz agreed to meet in a public cafe. When they faced each other, the woman looked uneasy but sincere. Liz, I wanted to apologize. Liz blinked. For what? Asterisk. For crossing boundaries, yes. Ed started the chats, but I fed into them. I flirted. I didn't think about you, your feelings. When I heard your voice during the leaked audio, it hit me. You're real. A real woman with a real heart. I'm sorry. Liz wasn't expecting this. I appreciate that, she said softly. It means more than you know, the woman continued. And I'm not here to get involved anymore. I just needed closure too. The hate online was intense. I lost sleep. But I also realized Ed loves you. It was obvious in how he defended you publicly. Liz's features softened. Witnessing someone else recognize Ed's love felt strangely validating. The woman stood to leave. One last thing, she said. He's changed. I noticed it when he told me we couldn't talk anymore. He set boundaries. That's growth. Liz was surprised again. He said that, yes. He blocked me after apologizing. I respect that. Liz exhaled, relief mixed with something like hope. Thank you, she said. They parted without bitterness. Two women who shared a painful chapter, now closing it respectfully. The turning point. 1 month later, over the next few weeks, Liz and Ed met occasionally. Not as a couple, as two people rebuilding trust slowly. Therapy sessions brought tears and breakthroughs. They discussed triggers, attachment styles, communication methods. Liz watched Ed evolve. Not overnight, slowly, imperfectly sometimes. Failing, apologizing, trying again, and she evolved to learning boundaries, self-worth, emotional independence. One rainy evening, Ed invited her over for dinner, not romantic. Just sharing a meal. He cooked real cooking, not takeout pasta with homemade sauce, garlic bread slightly burned, but charmingly so. They ate on the patio covered in string lights. Rain gently tapping the roof. Halfway through dinner, Liz noticed Ed's phone buzz on the table. He glanced at it, then turned it face up and ignored it. A simple gesture, but meaningful. No secrecy, no hiding. Liz's chest warmed gently. After dinner, they sat in silence listening to rain. Do you think we could try again someday? Ed asked quietly, not pushing. Liz took a deep breath. Maybe, but only if we build something new from scratch. No recycling our old patterns. Ed nodded. I want that. Whatever pace you choose, I'll follow. She looked at him, really looked past mistakes, past scars, into effort, growth, sincerity. Liz reached across the table and laid her hand over his. Not as forgiveness, as possibility. Ed's eyes glistened, a moment tender as wet soil, where seeds of something new could grow. But life rarely lets healing stay gentle for long. Because tomorrow, something unexpected would shake everything again, pushing them toward a choice neither was ready for, and love, fragile and fresh, would be tested once more.